Hello, all you beautiful sailors. As per usual, hope you guys are all doing well. Welcome back to more esports talk. A bit of a sleeper out there we found from last week on Nickmercs stream, giving advice to up-and-coming gamers as well as streamers and potential future pro players out there that I'm sure a lot of young guns out there would love to hear from the man himself. As per usual, you guys know where to find his channel, but Nickmercs finally gives it advice after receiving a donation and talking about exposure being a bit on the lucky side these days as the up-and-comers, who they play with has to deal a lot with the success they do see. Nickmercs gives his response and talks about how it's not just luck, but if you make yourself noticeable, if you are good enough, people have to notice eventually.
It'll be a longer stream today. Burr said, you do what many people dream of doing. Sadly, today is not just about the grind, but the exposure to who you get lucky playing with and getting eyes on you. Burr, it's kind of how it is in life, man, Kind of all about who you know. You know what I mean? Listen, there's a little bit of luck involved, absolutely, but at the end of the day, there are opportunities available for all of you guys to make it in gaming. There really are. Bottom line is, man, if you get to the point where you're better than almost everybody else, they can't ignore you. You realize that, right? They even if they want to ignore you, they can't ignore you. It's not fair. You will get the exposure. It's the way it is. Now, what you do with that exposure, right? The moves that you make when you get a little bit of light or a little bit of juice, that's on you, right? And believe me, we were all there. I was there once. I mean, I had opportunities as well in front of me, and I capitalized big time. That's just the way it is. Everybody gets opportunities, and if you don't have them handed to you, then you gotta create them. But I mean, I don't like what I don't like about your donation is you talked about. So you dropped me a whole paragraph right here, and you talked about this being a dream job, and the first thing that you say is lucky, who you get lucky playing with. That's not the right mindset. If luck is your first thought, you're kind of just hoping. You're not creating. You're not being proactive. You're just waiting for nah. You got to create, man, for sure. Bottom line is, man, there's things that you can do that push that stuff to the side. There really are. And there's examples of that. I like to use the one with Aiden. Is Aiden the biggest streamer in the world? No. But is he doing good enough where this is a job and this is what he does for a living? Absolutely. He's crushing it. And I remember when he had, 40, 50 viewers and he wasn't doing good enough to where this could be a job. But what did he do? He got focused. He put a lot of time in. I mean, an endless amount of time into Fortnite. And he became really, 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 really good to the point where he was one of the best controller players in the game for a while. Okay? And he got the opportunity that he earned by just going to an event. He grabbed his controller, his backpack. He went to an event. Just went. He played an open play just like I did. And me and him both qualified to play in the bigger tournament. And then when we played against each other, bro, he kind of beat me up a little bit, man. And I was known as the best controller player at that time. Maybe not the best, but 100% the most popular. So I still did okay, but he did better than I did. And that was what, in my opinion, skyrocketed his stream and his YouTube and all his numbers. I mean, in the span of a couple weeks on social, everything just went through the roof. So that is an example of literally just doing it yourself. It wasn't a host. It wasn't a raid. It wasn't any luck. He went to work. He went to work.
I think we all love a good Aiden story. I would say even further, if you really want to nitpick it down, I think Nickmercs has done a lot for a guy like Neo, making the most of those opportunities, playing with him ever since the Fortnite days as well. But what Nick goes on to state is, if you are good enough, if you differentiate yourself enough and actually prove yourself good enough in at least some form or facet, whether it's just skill or entertainment, part of this clip I'm not going to play for you guys, he went on to talk about is people like Doc or Tim the Tatman aren't necessarily the highest skilled people out there, but they made themselves themselves noticeable, and they made themselves good enough where people could not ignore them. He also goes on to talk about why he hosts the MFAM Gauntlets, continuing to give people like a guy like Neo, who I still think deserves a good running in Phase 5 and the recruitment challenge, and hundreds of other players the opportunities to make their way into the game.
What? I mean, I don't know. Take Biffle, for example. He's doing great right now in his own stream and his little crew as well. Well, I mean, he got an opportunity to play in the MFAM Gauntlet. So I'll take a little bit of credit, because we hosted those gauntlets, and a big reason that we did that was to provide an opportunity for a lot of you guys that don't have an opportunity, really hard to break out. We wanted to give you another one to perform in front of a big community, if not one of the biggest communities in gaming. We want to give you the opportunity. Okay, there's a few of these guys that took big time advantage of that opportunity. But keep in mind, for every Biffle, right? For every whoever popped off in those tournaments, okay? For every 1 or 2 or 3 or maybe 10 of those guys that maybe had their stuff go up a little bit, dude, we were hosting tournaments every week. We probably had over 10,000 people playing those tournaments. So you're looking at 9,980 that didn't move a inch. And then you're looking at the 20 that did. And that's life. You think when we watch those NFL games, those guys on the field, you know how many hoops and shit they had to jump through to play in the professional football league like that and make money? And for every single one of those guys, for every one of those NFL football players, there's fucking, oh my God, man, all their homies and friends, they're all not playing football, man. They're hoping to get a coaching job or, be on the staff of some college football team or something, You guys got to know that. There's the few and there's the many. In gaming, in football, in life, it's just the way it is. So, going back to his donation, if you look at the successful and you say luck, the first word is luck, you're setting yourself up to fail. Opportunity, for sure. And some people do get lucky, absolutely. But don't look at those guys as like, that's how I need to do it. You got to look at the ones that created their own opportunities, right? That forged their own path. Those are the ones you look at. You say, okay, this is how he did it. Now, how am I going to do it, right? That's what you got to do. And I think if you do that, you're setting yourself up. You really are. You're setting yourself up. You're doing well. You're ahead. Think of all the people that just think it's all luck, because there's a lot of them, guys. If you can separate yourself from that group, you're already ahead of them, because it's not just luck, and that I can do this, right? Because if it's all luck, then you can't do it. You're just gonna wait, and nothing's ever gonna happen. But if you separate yourself from them, and you say, okay, listen, I gotta make a plan. Wow, what's the plan? You're already so far ahead if you have that mindset. You really are.
And so I wanted to share this with you guys because I greatly enjoy watching the storylines of people like Nickmercs. And if you want to reference a guy like Tim the Tatman, these guys did not have it easy. I think a lot of us forget we see how successful they are now with tens of thousands of subscribers on Twitch and, millions of subscribers on YouTube, and how much they have really made it. You forget about how long they've been working to get here, a decade or so of years for the both of them as well, rising and grinding and working through the hard times. Nickmercs in that same stream talking about the days where he had 300 viewers. He was actually switching from Gears of War and then into Call of Duty and lost, 80% of his viewership, how they have grinded and gutted it through. You guys got to realize this process is a lengthy one, and advice like this you got to take to heart and truly ask yourself, do you want this as a job? Certainly, I asked myself this a long time ago. I found out many years ago, all right, Jake, you can't play video games, but maybe, just maybe, you can talk about them and make them a bit of entertainment for some people out there. I will never have the skill set a lot of these streamers and pros and creators do have, so I had to make my own little man cave over here, and hopefully some of you guys watching might take my advice that I've shared with all of you and join me one day. All right, you don't got to join the MFAM or the Nickmercs or the Tim the Tatmans. Make your own way in gaming. As Nickmercs has said, there is an opportunity in gaming for all of you out there. You got to ask yourself, what do you want that opportunity to be, and try and make the most of it. I just thought some great advice I would share with all of you guys. What do you think? As per usual, you guys know what to do. All right, drink it, take a sip for me, stay hydrated. I'll catch you back here sometime soon. Take care.